Disappointing jobs numbers out today for the Labor Department. The unemployment rate cannot budge from 9.1%. Economists are split on whether we're entering another recession. So what's the future? Joining me now, Brad Anderson, former Best Buy CEO, now a member of Job Creators Alliance. Welcome to the show, Brad. Great to have you here. Tell us from your point of view, and you're somebody with a lot of experience in the marketplace, what's going wrong with jobs? How do we fix it?
Well, Americans have always created jobs. I saw that in my own life and my own career by going out and trying to figure out how to serve customers and find new ways to serve customers and build their dreams and make their dreams happen. And so there's this combination of this act of faith and enthusiasm and a belief in yourself that has led to the regeneration and creation of jobs in our country. And we've got to inspire people to, if you can't find the right job, go out and find somebody to serve and create your own job. A lot of us believe that the economy is too big to do that, and I saw in my own life that that's absolutely possible, but it takes a lot of forbearance and a lot of faith and a lot of courage to go do it, and we're kind of arguing, let's get going, let's try to make that happen.
Now, you were a big advocate of putting the customer first and making sure that their needs are taken care of, and, I look at the marketplace today, we have a surfeit of service jobs, and not enough manufacturing. Do you see that as a problem as well?
I'm not so worried about manufacturing jobs. In the job I had as being CEO of Best Buy, I got to visit a lot of manufacturing plants. And actually, especially in consumer electronics, as you get to the latest manufacturing plants, they often don't have a lot of people working there. The key thing is to find some unmet need a customer has, something where you have the skill sets to do what somebody else can't do. And whether that winds up being classed as a service job or a manufacturing job, I don't think matters very much. It's finding some way to improve somebody's life. And that's always available. It's available to any of us if we just look around.
Well, it's interesting
you say that.
Not to say
it's easy to do, but it's available.
No, it's not. I agree with you there, that's for sure. But it's interesting that you come at this the way you do, because it sounds like what you're talking about is entrepreneurs taking this first step, or business folks taking the first step, not government. Can government solve our jobs problem, or does it have to come from the private sector?
I think throughout my whole life, and I think your last segment sort of illustrated, every time you sort of try to socially engineer from the government, it's too big and it's bureaucratic, and it doesn't really understand the problem, and you often get the the opposite result of what you're targeting to get. Whereas if you're trying to serve one single customer, that has this natural interaction where the customer either buys your service or not, and the customer responds. The trouble with the government thing is you decide you're going to change a whole bunch of people's lives, and you set out a program, spend a whole bunch of money, and if it doesn't work, you still keep the program alive. So there's a natural refreshing we have in our economy that you just look at any statistic like the ones you just quoted, they almost consistently do the same thing. You target the problem, the outcome is the opposite of what you intended. That's not true of when a business actually, if you open a restaurant to serve customers and they like it, they actually get their lives are improved. And so is yours if you do it successfully.
It sounds like what you're saying is that you don't think the $500 billion jobs program that the president is proposing is the right way to go. What do you say about it?
No, I think that is an extreme example of how wrong things can get. You're already borrowing $1.5 trillion every year. And now you're going to spend another $500 billion a year to try to grow the economy when it isn't growing when you're borrowing at that kind of rate. And you're printing 70% of the dollars that you're actually borrowing. You're having to print because there isn't money in the world to pay for it already, and you're going to spend more. And even if you think you should tax people more, what's going to pay for the initial $1.5 trillion? This is just getting us more and more on a cliff that we'll never get off of. And so I'm terribly concerned about that kind of proposal. It's the wrong way. We've got to fundamentally get at the core engine of our economy, and get people back to creating services for customers that customers need and will pay for. That's what grows our economy. And that ultimately will help us handle the budget deficit.
And I was going to say that cliff is the one that's really going to kill our kids and our grandkids, because they're going to be the ones paying the bill at the end of the day. Brad, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, I'm old enough that I can probably live through it. Thanks very much.
It was great to have you here. You've got to come back. Thank you. All right, still ahead.